Before we get into Snoop Piece, it is important on how these ideas and what creators do to connect these videos between each other. I hope I did that. So let me answer you this question: what is a crossover? Uh, just change slides now. Keyboard command and stuff. A crossover is a placement of two or more otherwise discrete fictional characters, settings, or universe into the context of a single story. Familiar crossovers is the Marvel Universe, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Scooby Doo, Mario and Sonic, and various others that you might be able to think of. Now, how do these crossovers happen? An author or an artist will take their favorite media and try to put something together. This could be an alternate universe or a what if scenario, depending on what they want to do with their work. A good example in our community is, I like to think, the infamous Fallen Return, where the protagonist, Cole McGrath, is sent to the Snoot first after his heroic sacrifice. Um, if you haven't read it, recommend reading it. And also, the infamous um, franchise is a great franchise. Now, let's but isn't but there isn't much crossovers that aren't in that Snoot game or Goodbye Volcano High. Which brings me to my main topic, Snoot Piece. Hold on, let me just change the slide really quick. Sorry for the quick. Try to do my best with this title. So
Love
Snoot
it.
Piece. Uh, a crossover between Snoot Game and One Piece, where the cast of the Snoot Game is summoned to the world of One Piece in order for them to get back home. They have to make it to the end of the Grand Line. Now, for those who don't know about One Piece, I'll briefly explain. Created by Eiichiro Oda, One Piece follows the adventures of Monkey D. Luffy and his dream to become king of the pirates. He assembles a diverse crew of pirates, each with their own unique abilities and dreams. As they journey across the seas, filled with powerful enemies, strange islands, and hidden treasure. However, in this universe, Luffy is dead and the spotlight is given to the Snoot cast. Now, Luffy probably isn't dead. You could probably put him in another position. But right now, our focus is on the characters that are put in this world and how they interact with its new laws, its power systems, and whatnot. Now, first things first, we need to talk about what is the crew of these of our snootcasts. Well, simple. It's the ones that you see here. We have Lucy, Anan, Stella, Trish, Reed, Rosa, Nazer, and Naomi. I like to think that this is set during ending 4, where everyone's got their happy endings. Before they go away into their own lives, they get whisked away into the world of One Piece. Each one already given powers, abilities to help them go through the Grand Line. And I will start off with how I've set up this crew. Now, for all those out there, you probably can set this up very differently with how I set it up. Now, Now, sorry about that. Be right back. Hold on. One second.
Don't you love it when your presentations get interrupted?
That was great.
Yuck. The real world. This is a segment I'm very excited just to listen to and have very
Great.
little involvement to, you know? Just enjoy a thing as it's happening. It sounds like so much fun, wouldn't you all agree?
Sounds fun. Sounds great. Gomu gomu na! Snoot! Gomu gomu no snoot!
It's been fucking 3 years since I've been caught up on One Piece. I have not
Right.
watched an episode in a long time.
All right, so how I've set it up.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't seen One Piece. It's too long. It's too intimidating for me.
Have you watched Sesame Street? Then you can watch One Piece.
That's a good comparison.
Now,
Lucky comparison.
sorry about that, but now, where was I? Oh yes, how I've set up this crew. So, starting with the captain. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I have decided to name their crew. Hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back. Sorry about that. So, where was I? Oh yes, the crew's name. I thought it would be fun to name them the Meteor Pirates. But there's probably other names that you could go with. Though, let's start with each of the characters, their abilities and powers of what they would have in the world. For Lucy, I gave her the role as captain of the Meteor Pirates, and I decided that she would wield two swords.
Fitting.
Yeah, be a swordsman or a swordswoman in this case. With a noun, I put him as the shipwright, and he has the sniper role of the crew. Basically, he picks up the ship and also can shoot well with a gun. Next is Trish. I was trying to figure out some things with her, but essentially I gave her the role as first mate. And her abilities will be martial arts, more specifically focused on punching. Next up is Reed. I decided to make him the deckhand of the crew with the power of the grow fruit. And for those who don't know about devil fruits are essentially the mystical powers that one can acquire when they eat a strange fruit. And they come in three categories. To put it more simply, there's element, there is stuff, and there is beast. That when you eat it, you can have one of these three powers. The grow fruit example allows Reed to grow plants and manipulate them. And I thought that was a very interesting thing, and I thought that would be a useful ability for him to have. Next up, I had Najir as the doctor of the crew, martial artist, much like Trish, with his main focus being kicks. I kind of fused Chopper and Sanji with for their positions, kind of, and how they would fight and whatnot. Next is Naomi, who I decided she was supposed to be the navigator, but I thought archaeologist would be more appropriate fitting for her due to her intelligence and stuff like that, I gave her the vision fruit, which allows her to create illusions and stuff. Next up, Stella, since she's so interested in fortune telling and the stars, and if I remember correctly from old pirate things, sailors would look at the stars and try and find their where. So I thought she would make for the navigator of the crew, and I gave her the cat fruit because cat girls. But for real, you could give her any other fruit. I just thought that was a funny one. Next up, and finally, is Rosa. I. It was an obvious choice. Cook. She can make a mean food for everyone on the crew and stuff. With her abilities, I decided she would have wrestling, be a luchador. Because I thought that was cool, and I've seen a lot of luchador Rosa art. With the crew now formed up, you've known now in the world of One Piece, there's usually a max, or Luffy has set a max to have 12 crew members, and so far I've listed 8. Now you could fill out those slots for yourselves. You could have either Leo or Sage in here with, or maybe Olivia and Inko. Choices are yours. Um, Now let's come aboard and set sail, and this wonderful art piece that I thought would be an amazing addition to top this off, and then going over to the next segment, which is the East Blue arc. Now, to go over the East Blue arc, simple enough for you. Won't explain everything too deep. No pun intended. Too deep with each of the storylines and whatnot. We'll go through the major villains and how, the meteor pirates would overcome them. Starting off the game, starting off with the bat is Alvida and Axehead Morgan, which both kind of are in the Romance Dawn arc. Now, these two are really simple enough. The crew takes them down with ease, working together or fighting one-on-one. Next up, however, I think would be a challenge for them, and that's Orangetown, where they will face Buggy and his other crewmates, which have trouble mentioning them, but it's the guy on the, what is it, unicycle, and the lion guy. Moment pause really quick, guys. Very sorry.
So would now be a bad time to drop my pen in this class?
What do you need, Selwo?
Oh no! I was just making a jest. That's all. A simple jest.
I'm glad at least 10 people have a chance to win this game that I've been having going on in the background.
What
Wait,
game?
The
am
Code
I
Words
also
game.
in it?
The what game?
The Code Words game. There's prizes.
The
Am I
code words
winning?
game. What? What? Huh?
Yeah, you have till Monday morning to find as many of the code words as possible.
Um,
Huh?
it's too late.
Whew. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, um, the next arc, Orangetown, is where I think the crew would probably struggle a little because they're up against Buggy, who is a devil fruit user. He has the chop chop fruit, which he can take his body apart whenever he's slashed up and stuff like that, along with his other formable crewmates, which is a tamer who has a giant lion and another swordsman who rides on a unicycle. Easy enough, I can see them taking down the other two crewmates, but them struggling with Buggy and his various techniques, but all around able to find out the weakness behind him and defeat him all the same. Then we move over to Syrup Village, where we fight Kuro, Django, and his whole tag rogue gallery of pirates. Now, Kuro here is a tactician, a smart guy, and, our cast are still a bunch of teenagers, so I think in this arc, he would probably manipulate them, trying to get them to leave the island as soon as possible. Maybe offer up like a ship that he has or something on those lines. Do whatever he can. All the while, oh, forgot to mention as well, the Straw Hat Pirates are here as well. They're still here, just they can't meet Luffy. So Usopp is still here. They meet Usopp, probably have a little bit of a friendship with him. And soon enough, Usopp finds out about their plan, and we have a battle where it's looking tough for them once again because Kuro, he's a master strategist and he's a very powerful person, along with Django's ability to hypnotize people. Well, I feel like the Meteor Pirates would get a little bit scrapped in, but all around still managed to defeat him. I like to picture maybe either, I don't know, probably Reed holding him down with his Grow fruit powers, and then Lucy kind of coming in with the final blow on him. And, you know, ends that arc. Getting to the Bratier, where a lot of stuff goes down, where we meet up with a lot of key figures like Zephyrd, Sanji, but that's for another time, as we are then introduced to Don Krieg, and I like to think, instead of Lucy fighting Don Krieg, I like to think a noun fights Don Krieg. And the reason for this is because I think it gives insight to what more things that a noun could do in this world. Because Don Krieg is a man filled with gadgets. He has basically what could be considered power armor in this world. And so with a noun kind of coming in tooth and nail to fight Don Krieg, I like to imagine he wins at the very end. And as like all of this is going on and whatnot, they're meeting the various casts of the Straw Hat Pirates, and I would imagine that Nami has kind of temporarily joined them, and then soon enough she steals their ship, and then that's when we get to Arlong Park, where they are introduced to the concept of fishmen. Now, fishmen of themselves is their own race in this world. They are basically fish people, and they come in a very variety. Now then, unlike any other fights, I imagine this one would be the most toughest for the Meteor Pirates to handle. But through tooth and nail, I can see them defeating it. Defeating each of the different crewmates. However, Arlong might take a lot more, since, he's the top of the food chain. in that crew, in the pirate crew. But all in all, they managed to free the villagers from the fishmen. And then finally, we get to Logtown, where they are so close to crossing the Grand Line. There, they face off against Smoker and Taiji. Japanese names are hard to pronounce. But they also are rematched with Buggy and Alveda. Now, not knowing about what Smoker can do, they, I think, would almost lose in this fight. However, due to circumstances, or they manage to get away or figure out something clever to get by Smoker, they manage to get back in their ship and make it to the Grand Line where their journey is just beginning. And so that is Snoot Piece. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to hear them. And I hope you all enjoyed this topic I brought to the roundtable.
That was good.
Very nice, very nice. Sorry, I am falling.
No worries, Goose. Are you
Here,
sure
let
you can
me
continue?
someone read.
Awaken the mayor.
But yeah, hope you
Later.
guys did enjoy my topic. Sorry about the inner. Who gets the gum gum fruit? Uh, from Kevin. Unfortunately, Kevin, no one gets the gum gum fruit.
Luffy just still has it. He had it as a child.
Well, Luffy kind of died, so now
Uh,
it's out. It's now reincarnated out there in the world because, fun fact about devil fruits is when a person dies, that fruit just respawns anywhere.
out of a fruit of a similar type.
Yeah, indeed. And,
Which means that the gum gum fruit will turn into a. Also, it's another man fruit actually. The spoilers. Yeah, no, that's just the
yeah,
sun god
spoiler.
fruit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, more so my presentation is, was basically just wanting to inspire you all to create uh, different crossovers. I think you could do a lot with crossovers, and I think crossovers are fun and give you more things to work with. How would these characters deal in this world? How would there be new drama added? Something like that.
Surely.
Do you want me to exit out of the screen or scene or
Actually, how would they react to Laboon?
Laboon?
Laboon.
Ah,
Zavale.
I imagine they would feel sad for the whale, and maybe do something like what Luffy did, but in a sense, maybe do like a concert for him. And I think that would be much a sweet thing, where maybe Laboon is just humming their song, their rock song.
Laboon was originally raised by musicians anyway, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. So it would be most fitting. Any other questions? Sorry for stumbling a bit.
No, you're
Uh,
alright.
just trying to get everything in of what I've run down. You got any other things about like what I came up with the characters and stuff? Happy to tell you. I'm happy to talk about them.
Well, you all are good to talk.
Ah, have arrived.
Yes,
Again.
the mayor in chief.
So we are now reaching the decrepit hour point of 14 hours in.
hmm
Jesus Christ.
Only 10 more to go.
So at this point, I'm feeling like you're wanting to take a nap, aren't you?
Listen, the nap can start when Shuhan gets here.
Okay, gotcha. So, what is the current topic at hand?
Oh, it was Snoot Piece up until the end of East Blue.
Yep.
A Snoop piece D&D, gotcha. Got you.
Yeah. Basically, what if the Snootcast was sent to the One Piece world? And so far, I managed to get up to East Blue quickly enough.
Okay. So I'm not as crazily insane into the One Piece anime as a lot of other people I know around me. I know some very basic stuff.
Which is
I know
fine.
that Luffy's actual devil fruit is not what was originally advertised in the beginning of the series.
Yep. I could say this right now: no one is getting the Gum Gum fruit because, again, Luffy. In order for these members to shine in this world, you got to take Luffy out of the equation.
Yeah, because if Luffy still exists in the equation, essentially it's not Snoot Piece, it's just One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Just with dinosaurs.
yes, then it's like, okay. Have you gotten to the, I'm trying to remember which arc is East Blue. Is that still before trying to get to Ace?
East Blue
is Uh,
down to the Grand Line.
East Blue is kind of the introductory of the series. It's basically an accumulation of kind of Orangetown,
Arlong
Syrup
Park,
Village.
the Baratier,
Okay. Okay, I'm
Logtown?
Lockdown, yes.
God, if I was able to kidnap my brother, he's read all, like, One Piece, so you'd actually be able to explain it to me a lot better.
I did my best to give my best to synopsis, but that would probably.
This series is over, like, 3 decades old at this point, so...
Oh, yeah.
1991, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the anime has been continuously airing since 95.
Through, I think, multiple different,
No, it's the same. It's the same run.
well, different... No, for multiple different publishers, because remember, the original One Piece in the West, when it got published over here, was through 4Kids.
Oh yeah. No, but like the anime has been being made in the
Oh, yeah,
same
no, the anime-
run for 30 years.
I was thinking about doing the One Piece rap.
Oh, don't.
Yeah. Ah.
I remember that. That is etched into my brain, Deadman. And it's also etched into my brain the fact that they fucking die when they get to Lockdown in the 4Kids dub. Because I think, 4Kids is like, we're going under.
No, that was at the end of Alabastia. That's when the ship falls from the sky.
There's at least one
they
thing.
get near a town, and then this like, oh, the Armada's shooting at us. We're all dead.
So the good question is how
Don't
many
remember that.
characters from One Piece is still existent within Snoot Piece, and which characters replace others? Like, or who replaces Zoro, or Zoro's still a character? And
Zoro's still a character. It's just he's going to be a little bit different.
He's gonna stay as the minority hunter, Reed.
there. Jesus Christ!
Wow.
That is a joke. That is a joke.
That
it was a joke, but I had to do a mental double take on that one.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
So That is the big. That's like
Sorry,
the
I
second
just
known.
remembered the mistranslation from
Yeah.
the first fucking manga release here. It's too funny not to bring up.
Yeah. So
That's true.
with how I imagined the Straw Hat characters is that they each get their own like different resolutions, like a different resolutions. Like with Zoro, he probably gets the courage to like become the world's strongest swordsman, but basically goes on his own ways. You know, sails his own path, sails into the Grand Line, probably fights his own battles, kind of being a solo guy. For Usopp, I think he just grows up to be kind of like the captain of the guard for Syrup Village, or becoming the sworn protector, because, you know, his bravery is here. He managed to fight pirates and stuff like that, and, you know, I feel like that's a good end for him.
And
And
then
then,
you get the
and then,
Nami part where
mhm.
kind of part of the story requires Luffy to kind of exist to kind of get a proper ending for that. So
Yeah, which I like to imagine that the Snoot characters kind of like are the ones to do it, you know, to like they see what's going on at this town, hear what Nami's been through, and like we got to take down this guy.
I feel like Arlong would just get mauled by Reed. Or maybe Nacer.
Arlong's a tough guy. It's like a
I
fish.
feel like Saurians and Fishmen would be in a very similar strength bracket. Just naturally.
possibly in certain situations, it depends if their fishmen are by water or not. Because I don't know if raptors would actually be decent swimmers, saurian wise or not.
Hmm.
Who's to say, really?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Crocodiles would still be the kings of the water, but I imagine raptors would be okay at it.
No, I think the kings of the water are still the sea kings.
Yeah, no, the sea kings would probably still be batshit insane.
Except
Oh no,
unless you
I'm
have,
not referring
Conqueror's Haki.
to. I'm not referring to One Piece. I'm just talking baseline.
Okay, so how would hockey necessarily? I wonder which
Listen,
characters
Who would
would
have
be
Conqueror's
which.
Haki? The other forms can, of course, be learned, but Conqueror's Haki is something
Trish.
inherent to you. I do not think Trish would have Conqueror's Haki.
Nah, come on, like 100% she emanates fucking Conqueror's hockey.
No, she does not.
Yes, she fucking does.
Conqueror's Haki is for a born leader.
Hmm. And
Yay!
and since I gave Lucy the leadership role, I feel like Lucy would have that. Would have Conqueror's Haki.
Now, of course, Luffy's three emperors, Jinbei, Zoro, and Sanji, I think all have access to Conqueror's Haki to some lesser extent.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy just has Looney Tunes powers.
Luffy, do whatever the fuck Luffy wants.
Anime Plastic Man.
Now, if I had to give everyone a specific hockey type, well, for starters, Nan would have observation hockey, being able to see really good. Trish, armament hockey. Reed, he has his devil fruit abilities. But I could either see him use armament or observation. Nazer, probably a mixture of both armament and observation. Naomi would definitely have observation hockey to make sure that her illusions are more affected. Stella, observation hockey to the max, because that allows her to see in the future. And then Rosa, pure armament hockey.
Hmm. This might just come from my lack of knowledge from the setting for a lot of these things, because most of my knowledge comes from a D&D version of the system, so I don't have that crazy as much knowledge for the hockey. I know it's kind of the secondary special ability is
Yes,
that
it
for a lot of
is.
the
It is
setting
the
have.
secondary ability for people who, don't want to eat a devil fruit or
That's where
haven't.
you have that's where you got like Shanks, who is as I've been told in the manga, completely bullshit.
He is.
Looks at boat gone.
Looks at Sea King. Sea King's gone.
Drake, where's the boat?
Where's the boat?
Megan.
Just like the skull.
Was there a very world map made for One Piece yet? Don't know.
Yes.
Sorry, Deadman, if we're taking over on if I'm taking over on things, because I'm just trying to catch up in my head with One Piece and my very little knowledge of the setting itself. So it's a little bit.
No worries. I chose probably a topic that everyone wasn't had too much knowledge on. Um, but I recommend you give One Piece a shot, or just make a crossover. See what you come up with.
Now, if you did Dragon Ball Z,
Oh,
that'd be
I
a
could
different
go
story.
at length and just tell you that Anon
Yeah.
would be a monkey.
Yeah, 100%. I could probably detail original Dragon Ball up to the King
Monkey.
Piccolo. I could. So if you did the original Dragon Ball, I could up to King Piccolo arc generally put where Anon would sit on things. So
Actually, no. Anon would be Krillin.
oh no, no. Anon would probably be a Krillin. Lucy would probably be the Goku somewhat in that minor scenario.
Who would be Bulma?
So Bulma, second character in the whole franchise. It would have to be somewhat iconic, heavily rich parents. Not
It's Tracy.
Naomi?
maybe Tracy. Naomi, that's a tricky one to be. That'd be a tricky one.
Enough.
Yeah, it'd be a lack of knowing enough, because then it's like, okay, you got to think about all the way over to Z for the parry. So obviously, if you make Naomi Bulma, that means you make Yamcha Nazer. Just because you got to remember, like, first relationship for Bulma in the franchises was Yamcha until
So does that mean that
Android.
Vegeta is Kanye?
yes.
Oh, no, I take that back. No, I hate endings.
But he made graduation.
No.
Turns around.
That doesn't excuse that man for what he said.
I've this individual known as Yi. He does not represent the stream. He does not represent us.
He does not
He's
represent
a
my
representative.
worldviews, but goddamn, do I think it's funny.
Yeah.
He's a very hilarious man.
I think it's
Uh,
decently humorous.
should
would say.
should I stop streaming or?
You can if you want.
Sure.
So if you want, so I do know hear about it, and it seems like it's just more like doing like a crossover fictional verse.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I know Sierra's somewhat familiar with, is how there is a fic out there that mixes in the Halo universe with the Snoot verse.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, again.
It's called Tan Raptors and Bow Rifles. It's only one chapter out right now, but it's pretty interesting.
Mm.
Do you want to
Oh
give
yeah,
like
I've
a...
seen some crossover.
So, a UNSC expedition ship on the far side of UNSC-controlled space stumbled across a habitable world. This habitable world is different from every other the UNSC has discovered, both before and during the war, because it contains a sentient and sapient species outside the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's the GBH world.
Oh.
Captain Spears
Oh.
of the UNSC. Hold on. Well, I'm trying to remember the name of the ship. Oh God, what was that big fuck up German ship called again? Oh, the Bismarck.
The Bismarck,
UNSC
the second most overrated ship in the entirety of World War II. Yeah.
It's alright, but it was so fucking big.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also like a pretty big reef too.